Isn't that a fab sound? Love it. Absolutely love it. Welcome to the power of Fantom. Hello everybody. This is a video in response to questions that I'm seeing within the two groups, the Fantom-0 and the Fantom platform. For basically newcomers, obviously the Fantom-0 is a new bit of gear. Fantom's been around since 2019, but of course there are still new people coming and they're seeing the light and enjoying the Roland flagship, and I just thought it might be a good idea to just start at the top entry level of navigation and just walk through what's there, so that you can get a little bit more confident with moving about the screen, what the things do, and what you really need to know, and things like how do you get here, how do you get out of here, what happens if I press the big red button, etc. We want to demystify that for you. This is going to be the first of a series of videos that I'm going to put together, which is philosophically around exactly the same thing. We're going to look at different sections, very much from a beginner's fresh pair of eyes perspective, so that we can get people more experienced, more familiar, so that they can then go off and do their own thing, which is what we want people to enjoy the Fantom. So, that said, let's have a look at maybe one of the first things, how to navigate from one bank to the other, because I know I want to use something in Bank A for this video. So I can just press, it's down at the bottom right here, slightly off screen. You press the enter button and press A, because I know that's where it is. And the first thing to note is it's still on the harp, and that's because the active sound will always be named here. Harp. I want piano, so I select it, I press it, but you can get the confirmation that that is now the active sound. There we go. That sounds like a piano and not a harp. Fantastic. So that is what I just did there, was a scene select. And as it would happen, the screen is called scene select. So every screen that you're into, this is a convention on both the Fantoms, is that whatever area you're in, whatever you're doing, you'll always have visual confirmation of the name of the screen that you're at. Now, this screen is the highest possible navigation in the structure of the Fantom. There is no higher. You can go lots below, trust me, and we will cover that in time. That's not for today, however. But there is a kind of sideways navigation, and I'm just about to show you that. And what that is the hamburger menu here on screen. And incidentally, it does exactly the same as the menu button down in the bottom left here. But let's just press here, and then we go to this sideways area, which is much more, systematic stuff about editing sounds, organizing sounds, mixing them, what the system is doing. So that's where you'll do all your USB, your keyboard, your MIDI, all that kind of good stuff. And then additional functions around arpeggio chord memory, then the file utility and utility. Utility is about exporting, backup, factory resets, that kind of thing. File utility is about file management, storage, which will be either on a USB stick or indeed on the internal storage. Okay, and both Fantoms have different amounts of storage, but they both have internal storage. Now, a convention to bear in mind is this back arrow, is that how the Fantom works is it will always take you back to the screen that took you there. So you could be anywhere. It won't necessarily take you to this screen or take you back to the scene select. It's very contextual. It depends on your journey. And so if I press this button, it will go back to scene select. Boom. Nice. Good. So that's nice, and that's how you do that. And like I say, if you ever need to get to the menu from anywhere, you may not have the hamburger menu up at the top, okay? But you will always have the menu button. And so no matter what screen you're in, press the menu button and you can go to this, because you may hear people in the group saying things like, have you checked your menu options? I know I'm guilty of that. Then this is what we mean. This is, you know, have you pressed this menu button and had a look at what this has to offer? There's a lot of power in here. My favourite is his own edit. I come from the Jupiter 80 days, and it had his own edit. It's monumentally powerful, very underused. There's going to be a video all about that, and it's on both the Fantoms, so it's applicable to the full Fantom community, which is fantastic. Anyway, I'm wittering. Let's move on and look at the navigation of the screen. So what information are we getting? First of all, we've got the scene select, we've got the hamburger menu. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go round. I'm going to start at the top left and cover everything. 4/4, that is now relating to the sequencer, and of course that's the time signature, 4/4, which you can change, of course. And also 120 is the beats per minute, which again you can change, and dead easy. If you want to change the tempo, you press the tempo button. You use the jog wheel to 97 or whatever, boom, it's 97. Now, here's a major thing. Yellow box with an asterisk has appeared. What that means is that you've made an unsaved change. Now, again, here's a bit of good practice. It comes on immediately to alert you to a change. You know, if you then go and make another change and then another change, you can't undo changes and go back to the first change. You can't do that. So every time you make a change, you must think, do I want to save it? Do I want to not? Okay. For me, the 97, 120, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm just showing you. So if I want rid of the yellow box, the best way to do is just to click out of it and go back. So it doesn't matter. Just randomly go back. And there you see the yellow box is gone, and it's gone back to 120. So no damage done. It's all absolutely fine. Then we go to the 001. That's the position of the playhead in the sequencer. It's at measure 1, beat 1, i.e. at the beginning of the song. Stop button is active, is displayed, which means that it's not playing and it's not paused and it's not recording. It's just stopped. And then on the right you have got sample pad. And that shows the mode of the sample pad for this scene. Okay, so it will change between scenes, and how you do to change that, and just to show you the display change. And if you look under the pads on the far right, there's a button that says pad mode. Press pad mode, you will get this button. Let's change it to zone mute, and then you'll see top right, zone mute. Yeah, cool. Now, I've got my yellow box again. Now, do I want to save that? Do I not want to save that? What I'll do is I'll save it just to show you the process. You press the big red button up here, red. I want to change a scene because I haven't changed anything else. So press scene. I'm then invited. This is the source. This is the one with the yellow asterisk. This is the one that is going to be changed. And then you can change it to the current destination, or you can move it to somewhere else, which leaves this one untouched, and the changed version gets a new slot. However, if it's a change that I want to make permanently to this slot, you just keep it as the same. You can rename it if you wish, but then I click OK. Am I sure? Yep. Bump. And if we go, and there, the asterisk is gone, but zone mute is now there. So that's the mode for that scene of the pads. And you'll if you do that exercise yourself, you'll notice that the pads have changed colour from a pink to a yellow shade, because that again is all part of the colour coding that happens to show modes, so you get familiar with these kind of things. Cool. Next, with the piano active one, and I should actually say that I've got strings and a choir. In the background there. These sounds I'm more than happy to share in Patchland if anybody wants that. If you're not a member of Patchland, there's a lot of great sounds there. I want to grow that over time, both with member contributions and from me. So that's going to be an organic growing kind of thing when time allows. So that is the sound. Now, attached to sounds is always effects, usually. And here we're getting to see which effects are active for that. We can't actually change them here. We can't press them. It's actually just showing which are active. So there's internal effects 1 and 2, there's chorus, and there's reverb. Now, just because they're active doesn't mean to say they're sounding, because the reverb and the chorus could be switched on but not actually doing anything. So just be aware of that, because sometimes the reverb could be at 0.5. Now, at that level, you're not really going to hear it at all. But it will show as active. So just bear in mind that you actually have to go in and have a look. But we'll cover all this in the future, so don't worry. So that's reverb. CMP is compressor, master equalizer, analog effects, which is the same as pressing the analog filter button here. Apologies to Fantom. Oh, guys, you don't have that, but that's what the AFX is. And then vocoder is the remaining one there. So that's just like a visual confirmation of what effects are active. Then we have these 3 buttons: edit, search, and stars. What on earth does that mean? Edit, right? Does that mean that we're going to change our sounds and things like that? No, not at all. But we are going to change some things that are really useful. So let's have a look. Let's press edit. First thing you see is it immediately goes to a write button, and you think, oh, I haven't done anything. Why is it asking me to write? Don't worry, all the action is happening down here. Memo, scene rating, scene color, scene level. Let's go through them one by one. This really is all about making your Fantom your own. Okay, so press memo. Memo is to display text underneath this scene name, and it can be anything. It could be, let's say, brass, for example, or strings, or percussion. It could be Mozart, it could be Jean-Michel Jarre, it could be I don't know, number 1, number 2, all sorts of things. It could have your splits, low split is bass, high split is brass, whatever. You can do that note to yourself. You can also say, for example, again, not part of, all part of making your Fantom your own. You might find some signs say, I'm never going to use that. With the best will in the world, thank you, Roland, I'm not going to use that. So you can go in, put a memo on it. There you go. Not needed is there. We've got the yellow box there. Yep. Which means we've made a change to the scene. But this right button won't do the action. This right button will do the action. So just bear that in mind, because this is where we are just now. And so that can be useful, because then you can do you can look for these not neededs and then say, right, I can overwrite them. Cool. I can create space, because I'm not losing anything that I value. So again, like I say, making it all your own. Scene rating, similarly, is about well, you could use it in a variety of ways. How I use it, and most people use it, is to say you've got 3 stars that you can allocate to any sound, and you can see by me rotating the encoder, we're getting the stars coming up. I can then say, right, number 3, look at that. That is just musical perfection to me. So I can put 3 stars. 2 stars might be, heaven on earth. 1 star might be, oh wow, and 0 stars everything else. Right, okay. So I'm going to do 3 stars. You can also change the scene color. Again, it's all part of just how you want to organize your sounds. And that is, you might want to have it as orchestral or big band or pop. Or you could have it just as, there's patterns as songs. You want to have a different color for that, or leads or pads. Your call. But you've got 16 colors. You just turn the encoder, and then you can, organize. I'm going to keep it at red because it's red. I'm used to seeing that. I'll think there's something wrong if I've changed it. So I'm going to do that. Scene level is really useful because in all sorts of ways. Number 1, I find that if I connect my Fantom to my DAW using USB audio, I find that it runs a bit hot. i.e. loud, and get clipping and interference. And so here you can go to these offending scenes and then just dial them back, and then they sound perfect again. And so, cool. We like that. Another use of it is actually maybe, you've been playing a song, maybe at a venue, and then you just want to play another one, but not as loud, but you don't want to mess around with the master volume. Perfect. Create a scene, and then reduce from 127, say, down to 60, and it will be half the volume, right? Which is nice background stuff. So that could be useful in that context as well. I'm going to keep it at 127. But that's what you do. And again, like I keep saying, it's all about making it your own, so you're familiar with it and you can find things quickly. So I'm going to press right. And there we are. We're done. No yellow box. And we've got not needed, and we've got 3 stars. Okay, so all those changes have now been put in. Great. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to go to the search. And we press the search. Now the search is a text search, and so it all depends how you name things, of course, because remember I did a save and you could rename things. You might have your own convention about naming things. Sometimes I put my initials in, for example, into a name. Sometimes I don't. It depends what the sounds are, and you might use keywords in there. So I know there's a few scenes with the word chill in the name. So I have typed that in, and it says here 7 hits. So there's 512 total scenes, and there are 7 with the word chill. So I press OK, and there we are. Look, so they are the 7. And actually, it's quite good because here, the reds, see how the yellow's jumping out? But that is the way that Roland has organised it. They've said that, well, when there's a pattern, let's make it yellow. And if there's nothing at all, just make it red, okay, for example. And so there you are. So I can select that and press play. There we go, we have the pattern. But if I go to chill synth and press play, nothing, nada, because there's no pattern or song. And I can tell by the colour, because I've changed the colour to suit what's there, if that is the way I want to organise my sounds. So that's cool. All right, and let's just have a look in here. No, that's fine. All good. And what I was going to do was just show you very quickly. I'm just doing the same search. Several people panic at this point and think, how do I get out? I'm stuck. And you're not stuck. Don't worry. It's because your search is still active. It's coloured red. And so just press red again. And then you'll go back to the original scene select, wherever I obviously have selected a new one because I went in to have a look. And so it's changed the active scene. If I want to go back to the very beginning, I can easily just go to that. And because A, B, C, and D, using the enter button, will always go to the beginning of that scene bank. Okay. So click it, and it's now active, and there's our not needed and our 3 stars. Talking of stars, when we press the star button, we get all the sounds that we have selected that we've added stars to, starting with the 3 stars, then 2 stars, then 1 stars, but only the stars. And so when you consider there's 512 scenes to choose from on the Fantom platform, then this saves a lot of time. If I just want to look at my 3s, there they are. Great. Perfect. And so that's all super cool, being able to do that, because it just speeds up. If you're wanting to record a track, or create a new sound, or you know that, that scene is close to what I want, this is how you very quickly find it. And then again, in the same context, the star is active And so we're just showing the ones with the stars, but if I then press the star again, I then come out of the star. Okay. Now, along the bottom, I'm not going to use this one because this has V piano. I'll be transparent. This has V piano. The V piano's not on the Fantom-0, so I want to try and keep it as similar as possible. So I'm just going to go to Jupiter Explored because we've kind of done everything up above here. I think I did mention about patterns and songs, and we'll go into that another time. But you know, if it has a pattern or a song, you can press the play button and hear some of the demo work that Roland have created for us. These are great learning things and well worth exploring. But that's a different topic. But along the bottom here, okay, well, let's just take a dark edge because that's a good sound. That bass is lovely. Love it. Okay, you have a lot of factors. You've got standard ones across. Whenever you change, they're all pretty much the same, unless the engine is different. You'll get different options, like the V piano or the supernatural acoustic piano. You'll get different options. But for Zencore, it's generally this. Portamento time, low frequency oscillator 1 rate, amp depth number 2 rate, and amp depth, and then the filter envelope depth. Now, some of these things might not make much difference. It really does depend on all the things that are happening under the hood with the sounds. Again, that will be the topic of another video. But just to kind of show you what you can do where there is effect, if I put this down to all the way down to minus 63, it's quite muffled. Right. If I go up to plus 63, so I've what they call there, I've opened up the filter envelope. I've made it more effective. So the filter envelope is taking the sound and is either being applied very, very little, or in a negative sense, and then in a positive sense. And so you heard the difference. So you can, you know, from the screen affect the sounds as you're playing them. Okay. So that largely is the key points about the scene select page. There's probably just one other thing that I'd like to start going into, just so that you can start experimenting, because you now know how to navigate out, and if the yellow box comes, how to either save it or ignore it. And so now is a good time to maybe open up the box a little bit. And then, so if you take something like Jupiter Explored, what does that sound like? Right, so it's got intervals in there. There's a whole bundle of things going on. But, you know, you might think, oh, it's great sound. I love that sound. Lovely. But it's just too harsh. It's coming in too quick. Can I change it? Well, yes, you can. For example, just as a quick one, in the grey area to the right of the screen, okay, there's a panel that's the kind of bluey green. If you press the amp envelope button, okay, and then twiddle the attack, okay, that's all I'm doing. Okay, so I've pressed filter the amp envelope, amp env as the button is, and then I'm just doing the attack. So no attack. It's sounding right away. Now, let's do this. It's almost like a different sound. I mean, we both know that all I've changed is the attack. But the characteristic hasn't been changed. But it's now... it has a completely different use case, if you like, and creative possibilities. And that's just by pressing one button and using one encoder. So go ahead and play around with the other ones. You're not going to hurt anything. You're not going to... You see, there's no yellow... See how there's no yellow box? Yeah, these aren't changes. These are live things. Okay? You're not getting even offered the chance to save them like that. So you're not going to hurt anything, but it's cool to actually experiment and see. And if you did want to save it, by the way, you can say, oh, well, I might get something cool and I do want to save it. Yep, absolutely. That'll be the topic for another conversation. But what you do is you open up the sound, you go to the amp envelope in the sound, and you edit it to the same value as you just had on screen. Then hit save, and then you're done. Yeah. So I think that's us for today. I think kind of half an hour is a good length of time. What do you think? Should it be 15 minutes? I think 45 minutes is maybe too long. This is just at the 26-minute mark now as I'm speaking. And like I say, that's your scene select screen, and it holds good for both the Fantom-0 and the Fantom platform. And so, yeah, just go around, experiment, familiarise yourself with it. And then next time will be a different topic that comes off the scene select screen. And then make your suggestions in the comments below. What would you like to see next as the next video for the Fantom series? And I'd be happy to put one together. Okay, all the best, and look forward to speaking with you next time. Cheers.